So, US and an Israeli missile attack on an industrial area of Isfahan in Iran has reportedly killed 15 more people. This is according to Iran's Fars news agency. The attack targeted a factory that produced heating and cooling equipment and was in operation at the time of the strike. So this is the latest bit of information, where an Israeli and an American missile attack on an industrial area in Isfahan has resulted in the deaths of 15 more people. And we have with us Colonel Daniel Davis joining us from the United States. Now, Colonel Davis, this is a question that a lot of military strategists have been looking forward to. How much military arsenal of Iran is still left? How many of their missiles have they got? How many of their drones have they still got? Because the rate of fire of these missiles and drones has come down substantially in the last 1 week. How long can Iran stay in this war?
Well, that's obviously the operative question that everybody wants to know, certainly on the Western side too, because if you know what the inventory is and you can count how many have been used, then you can say what the percentages are. No one can say that with any level of certainty. Not the Mossad, not the CIA, defense intelligence agencies. No one can say. We just have to make guesses based on publicly announced production capacities, etc. But you do have to understand, and my operating assumption is that it's a considerable amount, because Iran had been preparing for this for decades. They've known that this was always going to be a possibility, where the U.S. and Western side and Israel may have an all-out war against them. They have been, of course, building these underground missile cities where they have production capacity, storage capacity, and then I'm talking mammoth underground caverns where they can, drive entire vehicles, large-scale, missile carriers, launchers, etc., boats. I mean, all kinds of stuff underground. The expectation that I have, especially after the 12-day war, is that they probably ramped up as much as they could, and I'm guessing that they have enough ammunition to last a year or maybe even 2 years at current rates. And so whatever they started with at the beginning, they started off with a big flurry of activity. So if you're using that as the baseline to say things are down 90% or 83%, which President Trump said earlier this week, I think that's a misnomer, and it's a misunderstanding of what's going on, because that implies that would have been sustained all the way through. That was never going to be the case, like it wasn't for us. We had a big splurge at the first 2 days of this war, and now we have to have a sustained rate to be able to carry this through if it goes months. Iran is doing the same thing. They have a sustained rate, and I think if you look over the last 4 or 5 days, it's pretty consistent with how many drones and missiles have been going through. And I believe, based on the expectation of what Iran has done, that they could go for many, many months. I bet they could easily go a year and maybe even longer than that.
Interesting. Now, my final question to you is this. The Iranians, Masoud Pezeshkian and also Mujtaba Khamenei, from the statements that have come out from the Iranian side, they've said that for any kind of negotiations to take place, there are certain conditions that are to be met, and that include that the American military bases in the Gulf need to be removed. The Americans and the Israelis must pay reparations for the damages that have been caused, and there have to be international security guarantees that the Americans and the Israelis will not stage another war on Iran. Now, on Trump's side, Donald Trump needs some kind of a face saver to get onto an off-ramp. In your assessment, what do you think is an off-ramp that Donald Trump would be willing to take? What would make Donald Trump declare victory and to end this war?
Well, see, that gets to the very heart of the problem, and why I was so opposed to the United States making this war of choice. Because once you got in, if Iran did what they said they were going to do ahead of time, which is they said, if you fire one missile this time, it's a full-scale war. We're not going to have it limited like we did in 2025. And if they did what they said they would do, and they have, then that means now then your flexibility is remarkably narrow. President Trump can't do like he did against the Houthis in the Red Sea. He can't do like he did with the speedboats in the Caribbean Sea, or like he did last year in the 2025 war, and just declare victory and walk away. Because now then the Iranian side has said, we're not going to stop then. So Trump can say whatever he wants, and he can put whatever kind of face on it. And if it was just that, he could say, oh, well, I've destroyed this and the other thing and reduced their capabilities and blah, blah, blah. He could say a lot of things and then walk away. Problem is, if the Iranian side doesn't comply and they keep shooting, you can't just walk away. So I don't see any, as long as the Iranian side stays true to their convictions and they say, no, we're not going to stop until we get some version of all those things we asked for, then Trump can't walk away because our bases will keep getting hit. The Strait will continue to be shut down and our allies will continue to be hit. And he can't just walk away here. He's in a big time trap right now where I don't see any off ramps without giving something really painful to the Iranian side, which is almost political suicide for him at home, but also going on with the war is political suicide. So I think he's kind of in a no-win situation here, and I think that he is starting to panic.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Colonel Daniel Davis, for joining us with that perspective there, sir.
Thank you very much.